think, you know, I don't think these things are well known here in Kenya, that people can contact Google directly for these things. I think we are very much told we have to contact the Communications Authority or the National Cert, and I don't think people well know that you can engage directly with Google on such matters. And so yeah, anyway, I mean, we have interesting challenges as an operator across all of Africa, and we have a lot of interesting requests sometimes from governments to do things around Google services. So it's very interesting presentation, so thank you for that. I'm going to talk about, so my name is Ben Roberts. I'm Chief of Technology and Innovation at Telecom. And I'm going to talk about the risks, particularly at the moment, with this shift working from home. So first of all, just want to talk about what we've seen happen across networks, across everywhere. This is all of Africa, but this is, you know, everywhere where we're operating. So we've seen this rapid shift of, you know, usage of internet and data shifting from offices to home working. This is not surprising, and most countries have had encouragement of people to work from home. So the graph on the top left, the one in black, is showing one of our offices. This is actually from our London office, but it's showing the data traffic that was happening both before and after working from home was integrated. And you can see really the usage of the internet really dropping off a cliff. There was nobody in the office at all in the few weeks that are following there, but you can obviously see that some people are accessing the network. There are certain services that reside within the office environment. People access with a VPN network to get to, but really the amount of services and data that is going through that VPN and accessing office-based systems is very, very small. Then, I mean, there's a news headline there. This was from April, so very early after we had working from home as becoming the norm, and Safaricom announced in the paper that their data traffic had shifted up 40%. So we're not only seeing, I mean, people shifting onto home-based broadband networks, but shifting onto mobile-based broadband networks as well, using a lot of mobile phones. Then the graph on the top right, again, it's from our own organization. But this is, we use Microsoft products, we use Microsoft Teams. We had certain people who were early adopters of this and using it quite prevalently in their work before and after working from home. This is across our whole organization, so it ramps up slowly as some countries started working from home before others. But you see this huge shift, a 5-fold increase in the use from 2,500 to 12,500. This is, you know, combined use of all the different services, collaboration, video calling, voice calling, all using the Microsoft Teams services. So an absolutely dramatic shift to using these collaboration tools and using, you know, using the working from home. Now, as many organizations would have seen a similar shift, and it's most of our customers who have office-based connections, we're seeing that as a whole across the network. But what does this imply for some of the you know, things that are going on with the cybersecurity of an organization? The relaxation of security controls may have been needed. You know, it may be that the IT people had to allow certain things in. If people were previously never used a certain system outside the office, they may have to allow those controls. They may have to reconfigure VPNs or firewalls to allow access. So that might have been emergency change measures. We're seeing more use of new third-party applications, and Zoom is one that's come from nowhere. I was never really a user of Zoom before, but I have been on many conference calls with other parties outside of our organization on this and many other conference tools. And this is my first time using this one as well for presenting, so it's completely new to me. This then, you've got this more use of completely untrusted devices. So in an organization, a whole bunch of people are using devices, their own laptops, their personal PCs, their personal phones that they've never used before in their business. And then it's less of a controlled environment. Home working is just, it's not having the same control that the IT people and the security people will have when they're working in the office. Let me see if anybody, I can't see hands here, but who agrees with this statement? Security budgets, people are spending their ICT security budgets mostly on technical defenses, on those firewalls, the VPNs, and those things that, the SIMs that are seeing when people get into the office. But right now, as I said, nobody's using that internet in the office. They're all using systems that are probably not going for your technical defenses at all. Added to that, if you agree with this statement as well, cyber criminals largely at the moment are targeting people and not systems. So different types of people in your organization can be a threat to you. First of all, there's the malicious insider, rogue employee, criminal active employee. Certainly, if they're at home, they have more idle time to get up to whatever it is they want to get up to. So that could be increased as well. Then there's the compromised insider, victims of malware, people using devices that didn't have any endpoint protection on, or impersonating users. That certainly is a much bigger risk, because those people who are your good employees have gone home and they might well be pulled their dirty laptop out of the cupboard and it hasn't been patched or used. You haven't given them a company laptop. They might be using their personal device. It's got no virus protection and it may have been compromised all along. And then there's the accidental insider, somebody who's a victim of some sort of attack. They become an inadvertent actor in an attack on your organization. So we look at workplace behavior. This is I think from the University of Cambridge Business School here. Security culture is what employees do when the security team isn't looking. So at the moment, the security team are really not able to see what is going on with employees, and they're at home and they're able to just do more by accident or on purpose. Just going to have some basic reality checks of the sort of things that can going on here. This is a personal attack here, but it's an SMS. It goes saying click on this link, and it directs you to a link that looks exactly like your bank site. You click on and give up your credentials. This is a bank example, but it's going on exactly with all of your home-based tools, whether it be your Office 365. We're getting messages that say we've filed this, shared this file. Click on this link, and you go to something that looks exactly like Microsoft SharePoint, and you put in your details into some rogue site. So this is very, very common at the moment. Reality check, detecting bad web links. You might have had something in the office that's protecting bad web links in emails, but people are now getting emails sent to different sources, and the IT guy isn't there. If they get something like this, they're not going to walk over to his desk and say, "Oh, I'm clicking on this, and I'm not sure about it." They're more likely just to click on it and see what happens. So there's the increased risk that people will do things that they wouldn't have done when they were in the office. Here is the invoice redirect. Perfect excuse right now. People are saying, they're changing bank accounts. Something's happened because of COVID. They need a payment right away. This we see is going up, and we're seeing more and more of these getting through our defences. And then this has been in Africa. This has been prevalent for at least the last 3 or 4 years. We're getting these instructions that come from your CEO, and it makes excuses even more now. Again, you're not going to be able to walk over to the CEO's office and ask his PA if this is legitimate. You're more likely to see this, and maybe you can't get hold of them, and then you might take action and make a payment. So I think I heard in the last session people talking about this, and there's just this need for this human firewall. And what is a human firewall? It's a network of human sensors. So it is a whole bunch of people looking out for things that look a bit dodgy, and not falling for that trick, but also able to alert somebody about it as well. Able to tell the security people what is going on, and that added to any physical devices you have is gonna help. But you certainly need this human firewall when your humans are working at home. So here are some of the workplace behaviors that people do that is exposing your risks. Some of these are even worse when working from home. Clicking on links, opening email attachments, reusing passwords across accounts. This is far likely to happen, very likely to happen as we get into mixed working. Some people are in the office and some people are working at home. The person working at home, they need some data, they can't get into that system. Call their colleague and say, "Hey, access the server, here's my password." Far more likely to happen right now. Department sharing accounts and passwords. also can happen, maybe as a convenience measure to get around some of the enforced changes that are happening. People are changing their passwords; they just increment the numbers. Downloading free software going on much more right now. We may not have had all the tools we needed to work from home, so we as individual users may have taken it upon ourselves to download some free software to do something rather than asking IT. And it may even be paid software. We may even pay for it with our company cards. IT just may not be aware that we're using these applications. The other one is send that to their Gmail. When you're not in the same place as your colleagues, if they've got a really large file, it might be blocked by an office file size restriction. So they might just say, hey, send that to my Gmail because I know it doesn't have a file size restriction or something like that. This is opening up data security issues as well. Unsafe web browsing, and we're no longer going for that outbound filter that we would have had in the office. And then risk when traveling, and weak data protection practices as well. People are, new laws are in place in Kenya as well. We're now seeing that the government is hiring the data protection commissioner in Kenya. But people may share data. They may leave their laptop open. There may be other people in the house who can access the data. And generally, people have little understanding of security policies, and they just, they're not there right by the desk with the IT guy to know when to ask. So what we're seeing is that we need to have sort of positive behavior change. We're seeing it from training, knowledge, assessments, and regular security awareness programs. So, what we really want to do is to have a holy grail where staff are going to be in real time telling you about alerts and getting retrained when they make a mistake as well. So at Liquid Telecom, what we've sort of seen as a good recipe for this, we've partnered with a couple of companies. So Durasa Online for Business, they are a company here in Kenya, and they specialize on online learning and training content. And we've partnered with them. They've got a very good curriculum, very curated for the Kenyan market, for the cybersecurity laws and the Kenya data protection laws, and they're able to tailor your program as well. So if you're an insurance company and you've had certain attacks before, they can tailor a program of training that will address and make your staff aware of something that happened before in your own organization. So very responsive to the different client needs, and having out of the box training as well. Can be delivered on site and with on site training. We've also partnered with a company called Cyber Risk Aware. They're from Ireland actually, but they're cloud-based software. But this is a platform that hooks into a lot of your existing business applications, particularly some of your Microsoft applications, and can test, retrain, simulate attacks, retrain, and drive people towards materials that we have for training people on how not to get attacked. So the online training, we are able to do this fully online now. It is very convenient at a time when people have got used to doing much more webinars and having online training sessions. So this is available right now for us to deliver to our users and our internet users. And then on-site, when people get back to work, we do on-site training as well. We very much recommend on-site training, starting with the executive and senior people, not just we expect the ICT people and the security managers to be very expert on these things, but it is important to give a big grounding, a solid grounding to the executive teams, and then they can at least once they understand the risks, they can start to then see the importance to their own teams are trained fully on both cybersecurity and data protection. And then here's the system we're using or partnering with, the Cyber Risk Aware. So it's looking for different behavior alarms. It can plug into different things that are coming up with these alerts. Your SIM, some of the Microsoft products are now having very good alerts, pushing that through to their system. This then will give various alerts to your staff. It will give them a policy reminder. It will redirect them for some retraining. Putting these things up, making them aware that they're doing something a bit silly or they need to think about it and check. So here it's very plugged into a lot of the different Office products. We also are a Microsoft partner, so we see it as being a very good fit for our customers, and really at this time, possibly what's needed. We're not actually even recommending people to invest in office-based security systems at the moment because nobody is working there. So I think I'll conclude on that, and hopefully looking forward to the discussion.